Hey guys, welcome to episode 27 of the Babes Talking Business podcast. Today you've got Lozzie and myself, Shan, talking a little bit about time management and boundaries. And we talk a lot about our personal experiences, obviously starting our businesses up while we were still working full time. Loz was in child protection working with the government and I was a full-time anaesthetic assistant. And our businesses really did start off as little hobbies and passion projects to create extra income streams, and slowly over the years they have turned into our plan A, and we have retired from our careers. And so amongst that comes a lot of wisdom, a lot of trial and error in regards to time management and setting up boundaries. So we really talk in depth about that today. And for those of you who are business owners, potentially you do a business part-time or full-time, or maybe you're in the startup phase where it is just a passion project, you are going to absolutely love this episode. We really talk about just juggling business, passion projects, maybe clients, family, social life, your own personal health, and really getting you familiar with the term called white space and how to add that into your calendar to majorly improve your anxiety that can come with rushing and always feeling like your to-do list is never ending. I also talk about with Lozzie hedonistic lists, and it's something that I've implemented into my life and Loz has implemented into hers, and it's just really about consciously ticking them off your list daily to help you enjoy what you're doing. We also talk about having awareness around your relationship with social media. Are you addicted to it? Have a listen to this episode. I'm hoping that it serves you immensely. I know that I wish I could have heard something like this when I first started out. I know Loz as well, which is why we decided to do a podcast around this topic. So make sure you follow us on Instagram for your daily dose of business inspiration over at Babes Talking Business, where we also do a shout out of the week every week. Leave us a review on iTunes and let us know what you think about this episode. And don't forget to leave your Instagram handle so we can shout you out and share you with our tribe. You can also check out our website at www.babestalkingbusiness.com, where we have loads of information about upcoming events that we have happening around the year. So without further ado, time management and boundaries with Loz and Shan. All right, we're recording. Thanks, babe.
No worries.
Oh my God, our first podcast
with you back in the country.
In the same room.
I know. And although you can't see it, we have a really beautiful view. There is some really nice, the sun isn't out, but there's a nice beach.
There's waves rolling, there's sand.
We were going to record out in the balcony, but we thought it'd be really irritating for you guys who were listening in the car. We've just been like, shh. Irritating or relaxing? You let us know. Maybe we'll do the next one outside.
I don't know. I think the waves would sound nice for us, but for everyone else, they're like, what is that in the background? So we've locked ourselves in the house and shunned Maddie outside. But we are so excited about this episode because we want to talk about time and boundaries around time. I think like for me with my journey with business, at the beginning, I didn't really have boundaries. I didn't really know about them. And I always wondered, like, how do so many people, like there were people I looked up to and they were so, what I thought busy, I hate that word, but let's use it.
Yeah.
Really busy people who had a lot of things going on. And I'd always wonder, like, how do you do it? Like, how do you write a book? How do you run a business? How do you do your social media? How do you do your emails? How do you do your, like, family life and friend life and look after yourself? How? So I really want this episode to be around that because I know I thought that a few years back when I first started.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something I've learned the importance of working in an industry where we are all about people and we give a lot. And I think I've learned to prioritize my time and to have boundaries so you do fill up your cup so you're able to pour into others, because otherwise you get burnt out really easy. Definitely something I learned even before working in the profession that we're in when I was working in child protection. So it's definitely something I've learned. When you do well, it's something worthwhile learning how to do well, because it helps you have that stamina to keep doing and keep going and making the impact you want in the world.
Totally. Yeah, like I used to run myself into the ground. And when I look back on how I used to like run my life, oh my gosh, I would just like not put my health first. I'd skip out on the gym because I felt like I was rushing and had so much to do. And, you know, I would, especially like in our industry, we talk to a lot of people all day, every day. So I'd let my schedule be open till like 10 p.m. at night, and especially with the time zones and having, you know, clients in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was not sustainable.
No. And I think sometimes, if we're honest, I don't know, when I look back on my journey, when I started my business, I didn't have the boundaries I had now, but I definitely still had things that I was doing to help me with my time management. Like, I didn't have the luxury of my passion project being my 9 to 5. So I did have a lot of things I had to squish in the time that I had, but I still was able to do all that well because I still did have certain pockets of time in the day where I was doing certain things. I know that's something we try to teach our girls to, who are still juggling full-time jobs, with how they can still build their business in power hours or in an hour a day and still have self-care and still be a good mum and friend. And you definitely, I know it sounds cliche, but I definitely do believe you can do it all and be it all, but it comes down to having some good boundaries and time management.
Yeah, for sure. I know, like, I've got some notes here because I was just reflecting on how I used to feel. And I'd feel like, you know, I was always in a rush. I was anxious. I was stressed out. Felt like I was always hustling. I was so busy. And I am notoriously known for running late all the time.
You've got better, though, the last, 12 months. You made a conscious effort. Well, before you travelled.
Yeah.
I noticed that change.
Yeah. And well, the thing was, I was always rushing and I was late because I was trying to fit so much in. I'd be like, oh, one more email, or, oh my gosh, I just got to get back to this person, or, oh my gosh, I just need to edit this, or, you know. And then so I'd compromise my travel time to do something else. And what it all comes down to, I think, is self-care. Like, how much do you care about yourself, and even self-worth as well? I know, like, stress and running late and your time and all that, a lot of people are like, how does self-worth have anything to do with that? But what I've learned is that if you don't prioritize yourself and your self-love and your self-care, then, and you put everyone else before you, then of course you're going to feel, you know, totally stressed out. Your adrenals are in overdrive. Your cortisol levels are through the roof, which doesn't make us healthy. It actually makes us sick. It suppresses our immune system. We're in fight or flight. We're in that survival mode. I call it the red zone, where you're just like, ah.
Yeah, for sure. I think too, when I think back on, because it is a journey, I think you don't know what you don't know, and I think it's all about learning what works for you. But when I definitely can recall one of those feelings, and I think something I did when I used to work full time and then try to build my business up on the side is, first thing I do in the morning is pick up my phone, and I would be replying to inboxes, people in my inbox, and then that would throw me out. And then I wouldn't go for my morning walk, and then I felt really rushed to be running late for work, and then it was just like it just triggered the whole morning. Just didn't go as well. I didn't feel in flow. I didn't feel aligned. I just felt the whole day felt rushed from that get-go. And I think somebody, I don't know who says it, but they talk about your inbox is just pretty much people's demands of you. Like,
yes. Who? Gary Vee.
Yeah. What does he talk about? It's like an organized,
someone else's agenda, an organized inbox of
other people's agendas of what they need from you. And so the first thing, if you get up the first thing in the morning, you look at your inbox, you're just there to help everyone else. So rather than having that time, which I know we're really passionate about in Babes in Business, teach people about how everyone's booked the Miracle Morning of what's your agenda, what's your mission, like having that time in the morning to realign with your intention for the day before you become, not a slave, it's probably not the right word, but you're just there to serve everybody else and you kind of get lost in everybody else's agendas.
Yeah. Actually, it's Jim Quick who says that. Jim Quick, not Gary Vee. I've been reading way too much of Gary Vee stuff. He's just front of mind right now. But yeah, I agree. And I think as well, like, one of the best things I ever did for myself was turned all my notifications off. So, like, us personally, the way that we run our businesses is we're lucky enough to run our business on the Facebook platform, which is awesome because it's free and you've got Facebook groups, but with that comes Facebook Messenger. And prior to being in business, like when I was a nurse, Facebook was fun. Like, it was a social thing, and I'd go on to greet people and like see what everyone's up to, check out photos. And now Facebook is like business is work. It's,
I'm there to talk to clients or talk to potential people who want to join the team or, so all of a sudden Facebook became like work. And so I turned my notifications off. I don't get Facebook Messenger alerts or notifications that people have commented on something. And with that, I constructed some time boundaries around when do I go online? Because online is work for me now. Social media is work. It's not like...
It's not sitting there in the scroll hole having fun. Although sometimes that is fun, but as much as people think that us working on social media are just sitting there scrolling all day,
it's not.
It's not. Actually, it's so funny how some people saying like, or did I miss something? They'll ask me, did you see that post? So I'm like, no. I'm like, don't you work on social media? I'm like, you don't understand. I'm not in there scrolling and looking at everyone's feed. I'm working. But
yeah, I know. I always get people who will message me at like, I don't know, really late at night, and I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I know it's late. And I'm like, girl, I didn't know my notifications on, don't worry. But, I think, like, we could all start there. We could turn our email notifications off. We could, I'm really naughty with this. Like, people hate that I do this. But I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's on 24/7.
It's funny, I think mostly girls in our business have done that. And when I actually want them outside of business, I keep calling them because I want to talk to them. And they're like, oh, sorry, my phone was on Do Not Disturb. I'm like, but what if I want to talk to you, not business related? But I think, Do Not Disturb is a good one. Turning notifications off.
Mm-hmm. No one needs to see them.
No. And just having good boundaries. I remember it's something I probably only put into place maybe 18 months ago, but I think it served me so well is I have a time where I pick up my phone, like I put my phone down. So I'm not allowed to look at I don't pick up my phone usually until 7 a.m. anyway. And then I make sure it's down by 7 p.m. usually, unless I have like a team training or something on that night.
Yeah.
But then I put it in a separate room. Because I don't trust myself with discipline.
Yes.
Because I think most of us when we're bored, we just pick up the phone and we just start scrolling. So I don't even want that temptation. So I usually put it in the study and I close the door and then I don't see it or hear from it again until my alarm goes off at 5:30 the next morning in the other room. And that means there's also another little hack because you've got to get up out of bed to turn it off so you can't snooze it. So that. But I think that was something that really helped is I'm having some good boundaries with my phone. So I did wake up in the morning and did like my mission statement or did a meditation or went to the gym or went for a walk or just was present rather than being bombarded with other people's what they needed from me.
Yeah. Actually, I was talking to one of my girlfriends, Soph, who recently went to Sri Lanka and I was like, babe, make sure you're in Sri Lanka when you're in Sri Lanka. Don't be in your inbox. Don't be at work. Like, switch off, actually be on holiday. And she was like, I'm going to delete my Instagram and Facebook app just while I'm there so I can be present. I was like, amazing idea. And when she came back, she was saying, you just reminded me of this because you were like, I don't trust myself. But I honestly think it's subconscious habit for us to just like, I'm bored. I'm just going to open my phone and go to Instagram, or I'm just going to open my phone and go to Facebook. And so what she found was she would be just sitting there like chilling and automatic, like it was just an automatic response. She wasn't even thinking of it. She'd go to open Facebook, but she'd be like, oh my God, I've deleted the app. Like, I can't. And she came back and was like, I realized how addicted I am to the notifications and to the likes and to the follows and to she was like, whoa, like it was such an eye-opening experience for her because now she's so much more mindful, which is great.
Yeah, for sure. I think we talk about having addiction to drugs or addiction to sex or people have unhealthy to sugar and technology is another addiction. So I think it's really important to be mindful and maybe have some awareness. If you don't, maybe use this podcast as an opportunity to reflect on what is your relationship with social media and are you using it or is it using you?
Yeah. And well, I mean, I've read research papers that show like there's scientific proof to show that our brain releases dopamine when we see notifications and when we see even a text message. And that's why, you'll be driving and you'll see someone scrolling on their phone while they're driving because it's that dopamine hit. It's like having a hit of sugar or heroin or, I know it sounds like really out there, but that's what's happening inside of us. So, being mindful with that.
What are some other things I know we were talking about before as a lot of people maybe look from the outside in, they're like, how are you girls doing it all? Like, you've got your own businesses, you've got your own blog, like, you've obviously just come back from traveling the world and still had a successful business in the process. Maybe what are some strategies we can share from people who are wondering how they do it all?
I am such a fan of white space in my calendar. Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of a calendar. I speak to so many women who don't run with a calendar, and when I say calendar, I mean, like, if you're a paper girl, maybe it's a paper calendar, or if it's digital, I love using iCal. Actually, I use both. I use iCal and I use a paper calendar, but I use them for both, two different reasons. But I love having white space, so I never put myself like back to back. Like with my scheduler, when people book in times, there's always a 30-minute buffer after a call is booked, and no one can book in a call in that 30-minute time block. Even like on my calendar, like my iCal, when I'm putting things in there, if I'm seeing too many things like back to back, I'm moving things around. Like I'll call someone and say, hey, look, I'm really sorry, we've got an appointment at X day on X time, and I really need to move you. And I do that for my sanity. Like, I need that white space. I need to chill. I need time to eat. I need time to pee. I need time to drink water. Like,
yeah,
that's important to me.
Yeah, I think that's so, and having the hours that you are available, I know we spoke about this before, and having in regards to having boundaries. So my boundaries look a lot different now that this is my full-time job, is my business. So, like, I only let myself available for calls like 1 to 6 o'clock at night, Monday to Friday. Or on Fridays I finish early because I want to.
Because you can.
I can. I usually don't have any calls on a Friday. And then that way I've got the morning for me to do what I want to do for my creative projects, or whatever I'm working on in the morning. But I know that hasn't always been like that. Like, when I was working full time, I still had time boundaries, and when I was working on building my business up, I still treated like my business like I was working for somebody else. I had that same loyalty, so I would have mapped out. Obviously, I'd go to work and work my 9 to 5, and there was a commute in there. But I'd come home, and most nights I had mapped out in my little calendar that 6 to 8 o'clock was me working on my business. But they were my boundaries. Like, I didn't stay up after that. I'd still make sure I was having dinner, being present with my partner, still going to bed early because I had to get up early. So I think being really clear on the time that you have available, and I know we talk about like big rocks and small rocks, like working out what your priorities are, and putting the big things like time with your partner, and then obviously your 9 to 5, or like for us, our business, and if there's other projects that we're working on, whether we're talking at a conference, we've got to put something together, or we're launching a program, putting all those big rocks in, and then prioritizing around that where the other stuff can still go, so you don't spread yourself too thinly. If sometimes you've got to say no, I think sometimes you have to say no as well. Sometimes you have to be selfish to be selfless. Yeah. You have to prioritize your self-care and the values that do light you up, like mornings at the beach, or time with your partner, or time with the kids. Because if you don't have time for those things, you'll end up resenting the thing that you're trying to build.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about, my coach taught me this concept called hedonism, and I love it. And I think it's so important to put this in our diaries and calendars as well. So hedonism, like, originally is you being like, like lavish. And when I think of the word hedonistic, I think, oh, that person is like, loves luxury items and, loves to indulge. But what he actually meant was create a list of your hedonistic items. These are things that you love, like things that fill your cup up. So for me, like, I went and sat down and wrote a list of 100 things that I love doing for me. So for me, it's like getting my nails done, getting a blow dry, getting a facial, going to watch a movie, having a walk on the beach, meditating, like so many different type of things you can do, right? And then he instructed me to then divide my hedonistic items in daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and seasonally. So like what like, getting your nails done, that's probably something you would do, every, I don't know, I get them done every like 3 weeks. Yeah. Let's say it's a monthly one, whereas walk on the beach, that could be a daily one. Like, you could do that in a day. So yeah, dividing that. And then he said, have so much self-worth that you put your hedonistic items into your calendar first before anything else. So kind of like that concept around when you get paid, you pay yourself first and you save first before you pay your bills, which is a really awesome strategy taught by John DeMartini. I love it. My coach is kind of like, yes, well, you need to put your hedonistic items in first and then having boundaries around them. So like you said before, you have time boundaries around when you talk to people and you finish work. You know, if someone was to say to me, hey, like, I need to chat with you, I need to have an appointment with you, can we do it at 7:15 p.m.? Well, my hedonistic item at chilling out on the couch with my husband is at time, so no, I actually can't do that call. And like you said before, having enough self-worth to say, I'm really sorry, but that's not going to work. Let's choose another time. Let's be flexible elsewhere. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, and especially if you're working in the same space as us, whether you're working in a network marketing professional or just work with people in general as a coach. I know something that I did at the start, which didn't serve me, and honestly I think it saved me so much of a headache now, is having your time boundaries, then having a scheduler where that's your hours. Because I found myself so often somebody saying, I can't do that time, can you do this time? And I just say, yeah. And that was like all hours of the night. But now I just say, yeah, I can't wait to catch up. Here's my schedule. Can't wait to catch up. So my boundaries are already in there and they have to find a time. If they want my time, they'll find a time in there that I've already said I'm available. And anything outside of that, I'm very, like we're talking about, we're very protective of our time. So very rarely will you see me change much around. But I think that's a really, if you haven't done something like that, I always say this wrong, but what's the program that we use for our time? For our scheduler. Shani always laughs at me.
Acuity.
I think I said equity.
You say acuity.
I say
or something.
Honestly, guys, you've probably picked up on all our podcasts. I have these little tweaks and I just say things completely wrong.
Lozzerisms, that's what I call them.
So acuity? Acuity. But honestly, that's probably one program that there's so many of it obviously out there that you could use, but that's probably been my biggest time saver, is just rather than going back and forth and trying to find time, just put your time boundary in there, and then you're talking to potential clients or team, you can send them that so they can put that in directly.
Well, I think I know the majority of the people listening to this podcast, they're goal setters, they're go-getters, they're here to create movement, they're here to create ripples in the world, and they want to create their dream life. And with that sometimes comes so much pressure. Like, we put so much pressure on ourselves to do more and hustle and grind and work in, ridiculous hours of the night. And I get it, I've been there. And I want to talk on something in a minute called strategic imbalance that I really love implementing. But coming back to that pressure that we put on ourselves, what we don't want is to create a life that we want to vacate from. So we work and we grind and we've created our passion project and our businesses because we love it and it's fun, but don't run yourself into the ground where you begin to resent it and you don't want to do it anymore and it's not fun. And it's like, because I know for me, like I remember when I was starting my business out, I had all these goals. Like, one of my main goals was to pay my credit card debt off, and I wanted to buy a house, and I wanted to be earning X amount of dollars a month. And it was just all about, work. It was very, self-orientated. My goals were never revolved around having fun and having space and enjoying family time and friend time. And so what happens then is our goals become stale, and then our business becomes just like you wake up and you're like, no, I don't want to play today.
Yeah.
But if we set those boundaries up and we have those hedonistic items in our day and we work on our self-worth, like, that takes time as well. My self-care 3 years ago was nowhere compared to what it is today, but that took a lot of work, and being mindful of it and acknowledging that, wow, I actually don't put my self-worth up there. I put everyone else before myself. So really working on that was a really awesome pivotal moment for me in my business and growth, I think. I think self-worth equals net worth.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think a big part want to make sure I say this right for you guys. So I honestly reckon it can make a massive difference in your business if you get your head around it. But making sure there's time in your day, whether it's a head
You didn't stick.
that word.
I love you.
Something on your glad list or your joy list.
Let's call it a joy. Joy
to fill up your cup. But something like your miracle morning, like we talk about. Oh my gosh, my words are not working.
Is your tongue like tied today?
But something in your day when you're filling up your cup that gets you aligned with why you're doing what you're doing, because that way your days, no matter how full they get, and I try to use the word full instead of busy because I think it makes it sound more abundant.
Yeah.
You'll still feel aligned and inspired rather than feeling like you have to, and it becomes an intrinsic motivator rather than extrinsic. So you're not showing up and working because you have to, you're showing up because you want to or you get to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the only way to bring that energy to your day is finding space in your day or making the space to realign with your goals and why they're your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So your day is an inspired day. Otherwise, I see there's a lot of girls who they set goals, but they don't revisit them regularly and align themselves with their why and really connect with that. So they might be like, what are you doing that from? Like, I know I had this goal that I set 3 months ago. I'm like, when was the last time you revisited and really felt that and you could visualize that, because that's what's going to give you the passion, the excitement and inspiration to go through your day with having like fun and being playful about it and being excited about it rather than dragging your feet through it.
Yeah, for sure. And so I mentioned something earlier called strategic imbalance, which is definitely a concept that I've implemented into my now life of flow. I like to call it flow. Flow to me feels like everything's working out right. Like for me, I see my like universal sign every now and then, or I'll see like 1111 or like triple numbers. And when I see that, I'm like, I'm in flow right now. I'm in a good space. And so I think what I love about business is that we are the creators of our own momentum. I don't want to buy into like an economic downturn or like financial crisis and anything like that. I really do believe that we are the creators of our momentum. And so with that, I sometimes strategically have a bit of imbalance in my life, and I will set my week out to work more than usual. And maybe I do turn my phone off and I don't go to social gatherings. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I don't watch The Bachelor. I purposely set a goal where I'm like, okay, this is going to take a little bit more of inspired action than usual. And I'm okay with that. Like I intentionally say to myself, this week or this month or this quarter, I'm going to compromise X, Y, Z to do this, and I'm okay with that. And so that's strategic imbalance. And I recently did that when Maddie and I moved to Nicaragua. We purposely moved there for 9 weeks because we had just been traveling around the world for 8 months, and I felt like I had grasped a really cool flow in terms of boundaries and time and business, but I was ready to get to work. I was like, okay, I really want to create some momentum in my business. So Matt and I decided to go to Nicaragua, where it's like this developing world country. It's super cheap to live there. It's beautiful. It's by the ocean. There were waves for Matt. We got a really nice house. And I just said to Matt, for the next 2 months, I'm just like head down, bum up. I'm going to be in action all day, every day, because I can and I want to. And I had weekends off, and I, turned my phone off on weekends. No one we know lives in Nicaragua, so I didn't have social commitments, and I just got to work. And then now I'm back here at home, and I'm like, okay, it's time to flow again. And I think when you really intentionally decide where to give flow and when to strategically have imbalance, that is true leadership, I think, when you can intentionally do that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because I don't want people listening to this thinking that you're not going to have to make sacrifices on the pursuit of what you want to create. And I honestly don't think there's such thing as a life-work balance. I don't.
Yeah,
but
balance, schmalance.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. But what does exist of you being in control of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you work out what's a priority at one certain time and what you're willing to create or invest in regards to your time or energy or resources to create that. And like there's going to be times where, like Shan said, it's a strategic imbalance. Like I think about something I have to work on because I'm so good at my balance, like at my time boundaries. Like Shan will back me up for this. Like even with this podcast at the start, I would refuse to touch it over a weekend. Like Shan's like, I'll send you the recording up for on a Sunday. I'm like, I don't work on Sundays. I'm not doing it on a Sunday. But also in saying that, because we have the flexibility to travel as much as we do, like we've just got back from USA and I'm going to Bali next week. And so I'm going to be working this weekend because I've just realised like there's 3 weeks that I've not really had the same hours. So understanding, like you're saying, there's times where you just got to be like, well, this is what I'm willing to do. And if something, it's kind of like you can't gain something without taking away from a different area in anything. It's just one of the universal laws. So being okay with where you're investing and where that's going to take time away from. But like we said, if you are aware of your values and what's important to you and you really put those big rocks in, whether they're personal values or business or personal recreational goals that you're working on at the moment, and just prioritizing your time around that.
Yeah. I love this episode.
What I did want to touch on though for this episode, I think women were not the worst at it, but we're pretty bad at it, is thinking that women have to do it all. I know we're not in this space yet because we're not mums, but I know I hear a lot of mums thinking like, I've got to do, whether it's a 9 to 5 or a business, and they come home and they're trying to juggle life and be a good wife and be a good mum and do the house and everything. And they think that these women on social media, or because that's where they're comparing themselves to, they think that they're not measuring up because they're not. How does this woman have dinner at this time on the table and her life looks amazing and she always looks so immaculate? And I think something I really want to touch on is that not all of us are doing it all. It's okay to not do it all. It's actually okay to outsource some stuff. We're not doing it all by ourselves as much as you might think it's just us. Like, and it's something, because I am such a control freak, I'll admit it, relinquishing control over some parts of my business, realizing what my time was worth per hour. Yeah. So I could outsource things. So I did have some time for some white space. Not outsourcing it because I didn't have the time, but outsourcing it because I wanted to do nothing.
More time.
Yeah, I wanted more time. Like I could, and it was just little things. Like at the start, it was something just like cleaning, getting a cleaner. Yeah. I remember this is something you did before me and you told me about. I had this such guilt because I'm like, but why? I could be doing it. It's only going to take me 2 hours. Like it's a Saturday morning, but I'm like, but that's 2 hours I could go sit at the beach. And if I can afford it, and that time I know what my per hour is worth, or just little things like my social media engagement now, or just we've got a PA for certain things in the business. It does get to a certain point in your business, if you can afford to, start thinking, what is your time worth? Yeah. And not because you don't have enough time of it, but because you want to create some more white space.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that you brought that up. That's really important. And I think, going back to, well, what is your time worth per hour? If you're listening and you're thinking, oh gosh, what does that mean? What is your hourly rate? Whether you just have a job, or you have a business, and what is your hour that you charge per hour? Maybe work that out, and then go and find someone who will do the washing or the cleaning, or even walk your dog, or maybe not. I would love walking a dog if I had one, but that's just an example.
But just work out stuff that you love and what you don't.
Yeah, what don't you love? Like, what I want actually. Can I tell you?
Yeah. Tell me.
I really want someone to come to my house like twice a week. Yeah. And go and do my grocery shopping. But I want them to go and get like healthy groceries. I want to give them all the recipes from our online program. Yeah. The Emporium. And I want them to come and just cook me healthy vegan food, and then leave it in the fridge for me, and then I'm going to eat it, and then they're going to come back like 3 days later and cook another batch of food. And because I freaking hate cooking.
I thought you were going to say want somebody to come and dress you every morning, so it's something you wanted someone to do like your whole wardrobe. I don't think something for
That
you.
is something I want to do. If anyone ever wants to get me a gift, get me a stylist. I'm dying to be styled by someone. That's a future hedonistic thing that I'm definitely going to do.
And although we work, well, I can talk for myself, although we work purely or mostly on social media, one thing, my dream is for me to not have to pick up a phone or a computer.
Your dream, right?
I just want to create content and talk to people in person, hop on calls. I hate social media, and that's something. It's funny that I work on social media, but I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it's a tool, and that's definitely something I'm looking personally at outsourcing, like thinking at what takes your energy and where are you at your best, where, like Shen says, where are you in flow? And I just know that my time is, I don't enjoy it. I really don't.
I hate emails. I hate the word hate.
I hate the word hate.
But I
really dislike social media. I'll reword it.
Yeah, I really dislike emails too. And actually, I've got a little slogan at the bottom of my signature. I don't know if you've seen it, but it says something like, "Thank you for your patience. Email is not my primary source of communication." And I had to write that because I only check my emails once or twice a week now because, I get my PA to do the rest of it because I just really don't like emails.
So I hope listening to this podcast, guys, you've realised that you don't have to do it all. Like you can outsource some stuff and pay attention to what lights your fire and what you want to prioritise and what you're willing to have strategic imbalance over, and set some really good boundaries in place, and maybe set up some cool like systems or like morning routines to help you find that flow and honour your time.
Yes, so important. And protect your energy. At the end of the day, I'm going to go back to that. Your net worth equals your self-worth, and what that means is how much do you put yourself first. And you'll realise once you put yourself first, more often than not, you become in flow. And when you're in flow, you attract incredible abundance into your life. And that's what that means. So put yourself first, protect your time, your energy, be open to strategic imbalance. But, just love yourself, guys, and stop being so hard on yourself. I think that's the message we wanted to get across today.
Yeah, that's definitely the message, and that we love you, and thanks for coming and visiting us. We like that you. I don't think I've ever said a massive thank you for you guys in a while, have we?
We haven't.
I was actually thinking today, I just really hope that you guys are getting value from our podcast, and it is helping you. Obviously, it's a free service. We're doing this because we really, from the bottom of our hearts, want to help you guys create a life of health, wealth, and abundance where you are in flow and you are aligned with your values and your goals. So we're really hoping that you're getting that from our podcast. And thanks for supporting us and tuning in.
And thanks for sticking with us with really bad audio quality while I was traveling. And you guys, if you're loving the audio quality today, let us know. Give us a thumbs up on Insta, or maybe give us a 5-star review on iTunes.
It might be enough persuasion that I need to keep her in the country so she doesn't leave me again. I need her here for my hens party. She can't leave me.
All right, guys, we're going to love you and leave you. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
We hope you loved today's episode of the Babes Talking Business podcast. We're loving bringing you these episodes. Our mission really is to share and add value to your week, whether you're a budding entrepreneur or you're a veteran and you've been owning your own business for quite some time. Don't forget, if you're loving our podcast, we would absolutely love and appreciate for you to rate us and drop in some love on the iTunes app by giving us some feedback. We want to do something really exciting, and we want to do a shout out of the week every week on our Instagram for anyone who reviews us. So please make sure you leave us 5 sparkly stars and you give us your feedback, but don't forget to add your Instagram handle or website so that we can shout you out. You can follow us on Instagram at Babes Talking Business, or you can check out our website at www.babestalkingbusiness.com. You can check out the Health Style Emporium online holistic health program, our beautiful sponsors over at www.thehsc.net. All of these links are available below in our podcast notes and on our website. Thanks for tuning in.